Long before borders were drawn on maps, before empires rose and fell, when the world was still young, it is said that a great flood swallowed the earth. At the centre of this cosmic catastrophe was the first man, Manu. Chosen to preserve life, he built an ark and was guided by Vishnu in the form of his Matsya avatar, a giant fish. Legend has it that after the Great Flood, Manu's boat came to rest in a sacred place called Naubandhana, the place where the boat was tied. It is said that here, in the heart of the majestic Himalayas, Manu's boat landed, with locals believing that the Bees Valley marks the spot. Today, we're going straight to the source. Let's visit the enchanting, gloriously rich Himalayas. Welcome to Shiny Boots. Legends fill these lands. One such tale surrounds this place, Naggar Castle. Naggar is a serene Himalayan town perched above the Bees River in Himachal Pradesh. This tiny place is historically significant for a number of reasons. Notably, Naggar was the ancient capital of the Kulu kingdom for nearly 1,400 years. It is said that Raja Sid Singh decided to build the castle in the 15th century and would use the stones from an abandoned palace further up the mountain. However, moving the stones disturbed the deities. Misfortune followed until the gods appeared in a dream, stating the stones must not be carried by men but by honeybees. The next morning, a swarm of honeybees arrived and gently transported the stones one by one down the mountain to construct the castle. With the gods appeased, the castle materialised and was divinely blessed with the supernatural protection of local deities and the bees. The castle is built in Kathkuni style, which literally means wood stone, and is a traditional Himachali architectural technique, layering wood and stone, and turns out to be earthquake resistant. This shrine is built around a sacred stone slab known as Jagatipati. The slab is also said to have been transported by the bees, just like the stones of the castle. The Jagatipati stone is considered divine and immovable by human hands. Before we visit the Gauri Shankar temple, we're going to dive deeper into the history of this region, examine the timeline, and learn more about the myths and legends that are embedded into the Himalayas. India invokes wisdom, wonder, and worship. The majesty of these mountains speak to you. They whisper tales as old as time, in languages long forgotten, of mythical beings and ancient gods, still honoured in song and ceremony. In my last video, I made a playful joke about all roads leading to India. Turns out this is probably not far from the truth. The road I was talking about, the Uttarapatha, is one of the oldest known roads in the world. I found an image with the date 600 BCE, but it's believed to have been in use as early as 1500 BCE and possibly even earlier. And how do we know this? Because the Uttarapatha is explicitly mentioned in both the Mahabharata as well as early Buddhist texts. That suggests it was already well established by the Iron Age and likely functioned during the late Bronze Age. Let's zoom out and look at the timeline. The Indus Valley Civilization, one of the world's earliest urban cultures, flourished from around 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE. To give you an idea of their sophistication, they were crafting intricate gold jewellery just like this. These gold discs are some of the oldest precious metal jewellery components ever found in India. They are 4,000 years old. The Vedic period came after this and runs from roughly 1700 BCE to the 6th century BCE, and is known as semi-legendary. I came across the Matsya tribe, linking us back to the flood. Manu, just like Noah, was the bridge between worlds. An era ends, the world resets, and a new time is upon us. In the Vedas, it is said that Manu brought in the new timeline, the Kali Yuga. Traditional Hindu cosmology states that the entire Yuga cycle, with all 4 yugas or eras, is 4.32 million years. Some modern cosmologists have reinterpreted the yugas to realign them with the precession of the equinoxes, which is around every 26,000 years. And it is said that the Kali Yuga is now over. Centuries after the time of Manu, the Mahabharata unfolds. You may have heard of the Bhagavad Gita, which is a self-contained episode within the Mahabharata. This is more than just a story. It's a cultural, philosophical, and historical tapestry weaving together themes of family, fate, war, and dharma. At a staggering 100,000 verses, it's the longest poem in the world. Throughout this epic, the characters are using the Uttarapatha, the ancient trade route that ran across the northern plains of India through Punjab. This road eventually connected to the Silk Road, en route to China, or the Han Dynasty as it was then known. The Silk Road is said to have been built in the 1st century, and the Uttarapatha is at least 1,500 years older. This wasn't just a road for armies. It carried ideas, goods, and currency. Coins have been found in this region, bearing marks of dynasties from distant lands. The route led into the Himalayan foothills, linking remote kingdoms to this very region, a place where only approximately 3,000 people live now. At the foot of Naggar castle, a silent guardian waits, his gaze fixed on the inner sanctum. His name is Nandi. The name Nandi comes from the Sanskrit word Ananda, meaning joy, bliss, or contentment. Nandi is Shiva's vehicle, Vahana, and his foremost devotee, a symbol of unwavering devotion and inner stillness. Nandi is a bull. This is no ordinary shrine. Built in the ancient Shikara style, its tower rises like a frozen flame, symbolic of Mount Kailash, the celestial home of Shiva himself. Here, the god is worshipped not as the destroyer, but as the still point of creation, as Shankar, the gentle, auspicious form of Shiva, resting behind his consort, Gauri. Though small in size, the temple carries the spiritual weight of centuries. Carved from stone without mortar, it has survived earthquakes, monsoons, and time itself. Like Angkor Wat in distant Cambodia, its pyramid-like spire rises with precision, a Himalayan echo of sacred geometry shared across Asia. They say if you listen closely, you can still hear the silence between the chants, and in the silence, the stones begin to speak. Carved across the temple walls are beings drawn from a mythical world. Dancers, musicians, and guardians who seem to breathe behind their expressions. These are more than ornamental flourishes. Each figure is a story, a symbol, a presence. Among them are yakshas and apsaras, spirits of nature and air. These carvings are not only beautiful, they form a living map of the universe encoded in stone. At the heart of it all is the divine pairing of Shankar and Gauri. Unlike the better-known Shiva and his fiery consort Parvati, this union holds a quieter power. Shankar is the meditative god in stillness, and Gauri means the radiant one. This is not Parvati in her warlike forms. This is her purest, and most serene state. Where Parvati may transform into Durga or Kali, Gauri is the form that blesses beginnings and invites peace. Their union is not tempestuous, it is tender, it is balanced, it is divine equilibrium. Even the Shikara that rises above them is not merely architectural, it is symbolic of the spine, of Kundalini energy ascending from the base to the crown. The temple itself represents a body, and connecting with it becomes a kind of awakening. Next to the Gauri Shankar temple, we have another shrine, and you can see the castle just up there. The specific details about this particular shrine are scarce. I couldn't find a name, but it is common in Hindu temple architecture for the main sanctum, which would be the other one that we saw, to be accompanied by smaller shrines dedicated to other deities. In this case, Ganesha. This god is revered as the remover of obstacles and the god of beginnings. Something else to note, the bees also carried the rocks for the Gauri Shankar temple complex. I do love a good myth, but I've got some questions. Did the bees have muscles in the past? Or is something else going on? Did you notice what was in the background? Let's rewind. The shrines are standing on top of these structures. And what do these walls remind you of? If you've seen my previous videos, you'll notice that this wall looks like it could be a fortress or a castle. We're told that that is the castle up there, made out of wood. But this wall behind the shrine and the one further down, if you go a layer lower, look more castle-like to me. And these walls are dotted all around Naggar. Surely the bees must have moved these rocks also. Or are these myths being used as a way to cover up the true story behind these walls? Why does the concrete go all the way to the top of the wall? What's underneath the concrete? How much further underground do these shrines go? If bees were once muscular and could construct shrines such as this one, where did they go? What if these ancient structures were never just monuments, but guides and mirrors? What if the stories they tell are not myths, but maps, codes etched into stone to unlock deeper layers of consciousness, to connect to your own being? What if they're not fantasies, but forgotten instructions, whispers from a time when we still remembered who we were? What if the only true pilgrimage is inward, to know thyself, to shed illusion like a serpent's skin, to transform as the caterpillar does into what you were always meant to be, free? Maya is the illusion. Sakshin is the present witness. Samadhi is the key. Nirvana, the destination. Ultimate bliss in divine truth. And so we walk, not just through time, but through memory, through language, through silence, until history becomes mystery, and the sky becomes a scripture we are learning how to read again. And just as the stars once guided kings and sages, so too did the ancient roads, like the Uttarapatha, carrying not just goods but gods, stories and seeds of thought. Even now those roads live on beneath our feet, leading us back to ourselves, back home. Thanks for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts. Please comment, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.